How's it going, guys? Jake here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Twilight Forest mod. Now I'm going to be doing two parts of this mod. The first part is just going to be going over the basics, seeing the basic things that you're going to find and craft in this mod. And the second part, I'm going to be going over all the mobs and some special blocks that are in the world as well. And I'm going to just give you a much closer and in-depth look at the world itself. But besides that, let's jump right into the mod. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to get to the Twilight Forest. Now I have a portal over here already set up, but to make one, all you need to do is take a 2x2 cube of water and then get any type of flower. Now it doesn't have to just be one flower all the way around. You could alternate flowers or completely change them. There just has to be some types of flowers going all the way around this pool of water. And then once that's there, you just take your diamond and you throw it in. Lightning will strike it, and occasionally fire will spread out, so you do want to get those out. But if you break the flowers, since the fire will sometimes do that, you can see the portal doesn't go away. But if you were to break any of the grass blocks that are around it, you can see that the glass breaking sound happens, and then your portal is gone, so you wasted a diamond. So be very careful about that. But let's go ahead and jump right in, and I'll say that it's whisking us off to the nether. There we go. And this is not the nether. This is much cooler than the nether. So as you can see, here is the biome. It is pretty beautiful. One of the first things you're going to notice is that there's no day or night cycle. It will stay at this type of brightness in the sky forever, because it's just been paused kind of like at the morning or the dusk. So it's not super dark, but it's not super bright either. And in this particular forest, there are a lot of bugs that are lighting it up. So yeah, it's pretty easy to find anything with light in this mod, since it is kind of always gloomy, which makes sense since it's called the Twilight Forest. So the first thing I want to go over are some basic plants that you're going to find throughout the Twilight Forest. First, we have a firefly or a lightning bug, and you can already see these guys on trees like right there and all around. That's what those lights are. So very useful for lighting up forests. Then we have a cicada. These guys will be typically found on a much taller tree, and I'll get to those later. And as you can see, they'll, well, just make noises. Then we have moon bugs. These two guys, you can spawn these, and I'll get to that later, but they're basically a torch. They have about the same brightness of the radius around them. Next we have a clover, and now this clover, it says that when you use it, which I don't really know how to, that it can be very destructive to your world, so I'm probably going to save this to the end of the mod review so I don't destroy anything. Next we have a fiddlehead, a May apple, and a moss patch. Then we have a mush gloom, torchberries, running roots, and then we have three types of thorns. We got green thorns, normal thorns, and then burnt thorns. How you doing, good sir? So with those plants out the way, I want to get on to the basics, or some basic things that I think you should craft. First we have the blank magic map. Now to make this, you're just going to take a magic map focus and surround it with paper. Now to make this magic map focus, all you need to do is take torchberries. Those are the plants that I just showed you, a raven's feather, and a glowstone dust. Now ravens, you'll find them all over the Twilight Forest, very easy to find and kill, so it's pretty easy to get a raven's feather. Next we have a blank maze map. Now to make this, you're going to take a maze map focus and surround it by paper. Now this you cannot craft, you have to find them in loot chests, and they're pretty common, so it won't be too difficult to get this type of map. Finally, we have a blank maze/ore map. Now to make this, you're going to take that blank maze map and put it with a block of gold, a block of iron, and a block of diamond. So pretty expensive. I'm going to take all three of these maps. Now this first one I can use because it is basically a normal Minecraft map. Now if I come up here, you can see that it shows the biomes that are around me. It also shows different things that are in those biomes or are very special to that biome. And so this just helps you navigate around, find bosses, and all that. Now these two maps I'm going to save for later, but the first map, this blank maze map, is used to help you navigate through a very special type of structure called the labyrinth. Now, since labyrinths are very big and very easy to get lost in, that's why this map is very special. Now, this other map, this is also pretty special in that when you walk around, it'll kind of show you the ores or the things that are underneath you. And it works a little bit better when you're in a labyrinth. As you can see, it's only working on certain levels. But yes, it's supposed to show ores as well as help you throughout that labyrinth maze. Now when I go in one in the next episode, that's where I'll be using this blank maze map. Here's a previous ore map. As you can see, it shows a bunch of stuff that's underneath me. And also it's kind of hard to see, but there are a couple of gold specks in there, and that, as I discovered, was some gold ore. So it does show some ores that are around you, or at least at a particular level. Next we have an uncrafting table. Now to make this, you're going to take one of those maze map focuses and surround it with crafting tables. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and a diamond sword, and I already have one set up over here. So if you open it, and then I'm going to place my diamond sword in here, you can see that it will show how you make a diamond sword. And then if I click here, it will then change the diamond sword back into the things that made it. And then it also works as a crafting table in that you can have it placed in there, and then you can get your diamond sword back. So pretty cool and just, well, very useful. Next, we have some raw ironwood materials. Now, to make this, you're going to take live root, iron ingot, and a gold nugget. Now, live root, you're going to find these things down underneath, and I'll get to what the block looks like in a second. But you've got living roots, and you've got dead roots, and a dead root will give you sticks, and a living root will, well, give you this nice little plant right here. So if you take this stuff in here, you'll get this raw ironwood materials, and I'll show you what this is used for in just a second. But finally, we have an ore meter. Now, you can't make this, so I believe you can only find this. And it basically works as a scanner that's used in Industrial Craft 2, where if you click down underneath you in a radius of 3 around you, it shows you where the ores are and what percentage of them are there. So as you can see, it's giving me all the percentages for all the ores that are only vanilla, and then some basic things like, as you saw, it showed some live roots. Next, I'm going to go over some of the new wood that is added into your world. We have the sickly twilight, we have the canopy tree, we have the twilight mangrove, we have the dark wood, and then we have the robust twilight and the rainbow oak before we get into some special trees. So all these trees, including the special ones, come with their own set of logs and planks and doors, you know, all the wood stuff that you could make with normal oak. That's what you can make with these trees as well. And now these trees, you're going to find them just all around you. As you can see, the ones with the white spots, those are the canopy trees. And also these robust and rainbow trees, they're pretty easy to find, as this one right here is a rainbow tree. And you can tell because the leaves kind of go around in a rainbow. And the robust ones are a little bit easier to find because, well, they are pretty massive. Now these robust ones, they're not completely wood all the way in, so it's not just an unbelievable amount of wood. I mean, it still is, but you can see that it is hollow in the center like such. So it's not completely filled up with wood, but it is still a very massive tree. And as you can hear, these are the trees that you'll typically find some cicadas on. Okay, next we got some very special trees. We got the tree of time, we got the tree of transformation, we got the miner's tree, and the sorting tree. Now these are pretty easy to find because of their leaves that have an animation to them. They look really cool. And then they've got their own set of wood. And now not only do they have their own set of wood, of just normal logs and that type of stuff, but each of them will also have kind of this heart to them, or this core. So you can see with time wood, it has a clock. With the hard transformation, it has a heart. With the mine wood core, it has kind of looks like an ore piece. And then we got a sorting engine. So it's got its own type of heart in the center of the tree. And so both of these things has their own set of wooden things that you can make, whether it be doors or whatnot. So right here we got the tree of transformation, and as you can see, the leaves are animated. Same with the one over here, and it's got these nice particles that fall from it. And there you can see the heart of the tree right there. We got the miner's tree. You can see the main log right there, and of course it is in the shape of a pickaxe. We got the sorting tree. It's kind of a small shrub, very even all the way around, but it still has some animated leaves. Then we got the big tree. We got the tree of time, and now as you can see, nice big tree, and right here in the center you can see the core or the clock that is inside the tree. So just another type of wooden things that are added into your world. Also in this chest, here are the two roots that I was talking about. We have normal roots and we have live roots. So the live roots, of course, have a little bit of green in them, and those are the ones that you need to break in order to make this raw ironwood materials. Next, I'm going to go over the bosses. Now, this is kind of the main part of the mod. First, we have the Twilight Lich, the Hydra, the Urghast, the Naga, the Night Phantom, the Snow Queen, the Minnow Shroom, and finally the Questing Ram. Now you can see that the ones with the golden trophies, they're a little bit more valuable, as the Questing Ram is only a stone-looking one. But also there is this type of progression that's added into the mod where that you can't go and fight some massive boss. You have to start with the smaller ones and work your way up. Because if you enter a biome with the big boss, there'll be kind of like this acid rain, and it'll get stronger and stop you from being there because, well, it'll deal damage to you over time. Starting off with the Twilight Lich, when you kill him, not only will he drop his trophy and probably some nice armor, but he also has a chance of dropping one of these scepters. So we got the Scepter of Twilight, the Scepter of Life Draining, the Zombie Scepter, and then the Scepter of Fortification. Now he'll use at least the Twilight, the Zombie, and the Fortification one during your fight when you're fighting it. So the Scepter of Twilight, very simple. It will just shoot damaging Ender Pearls. They won't teleport you. So they'll shoot these, and these can be reflected back kind of like a fire charge. Then a Scepter of Life Draining, you'll hold this and point this at a target, and then it'll deal damage if you're in range, which I'm not for that guy over there. Now a Zombie Scepter, as you can see, these two are a little bit more powerful as they only have 9 charges left. This guy, when you go ahead and right click on the ground, it will spawn buffed zombies with strength that will go and attack any enemies around you. And now you'll have to fight these guys when fighting the Twilight Lich, as he'll use these on you. Then the Scepter of Fortification, when you right click, it will give you the shields that are around the Twilight Lich. So these will protect you from any damage 5 times until they go away. And these guys really like me, apparently. And now these scepters can be recharged. For the Scepter Twilight, all you have to do is place it in a crafting table with an Ender Pearl. For the Scepter of Life Draining, all you do is place it in with Rotten Flesh and a Potion of Strength. For the Zombie Scepter, and the Scepter Fortification, hasn't really been a way to recharge these just yet, as this mod is still in progress. Next we have the Hydra. Now the Hydra will drop either Fiery Blood or Fiery Tears. Both can be used to make this fiery set of armor. Now this set of armor is better than Diamond, and also as you can see, this Fiery Sword is very strong, and this Fiery Pick has auto smelting to it, so it is very useful. But now to make this, all you need to use is Fiery Ingots. Now to upgrade a set of armor, you need to use either the Fiery Tears or the Fiery Blood and place the armor in the bottom right corner, and it'll upgrade it. Or to make the ingots, all you need to do is take a normal iron ingot and place a Fiery Blood or Tears next to it, and you'll get this. And then you can also make this block of fiery metal, which looks really cool. The next set of armor is the Naga armor. Now when you kill the Naga, he'll drop Naga scales, and then you can use those to make these scale leggings and tunic of protection. As you can see, it gives fire protection and just protection 3. So a very strong set of armor that comes when you get a Naga scale from killing the Naga. Then we have the Night Phantom, and now you'll get the Phantom Helm and the Phantom Plate, and as you can see, these are never lost on death, and you'll get those, or have a chance of getting them, when you kill the Night Phantom. Also, I do believe that there's a good chance with almost all these guys that you'll get some nice pieces of armor, whether it's enchanted gold chestplate or something like that, when you kill them. I know that's true with the Twilight Lich, but there's probably a chance with all these other guys as well. Next we have the Minnow Shroom, and now this guy will give you these Minotaur axes. Now he'll give you the diamond one. As you can see, both these do extra damage while charging, but in the place that you'll find him, which is a labyrinth, there'll be other Minotaurs in there, and they'll have this golden axe, and they will charge at you. As you can see, it deals extra damage while charging, so be very careful when in that labyrinth. And then I'll go over the questing Ram in the next episode, as he is kind of just a on-site activity, and you'll get a reward from him, one of which is this crumble horn right here, and I'll show you what this does. So this will crumble either stone into cobblestone or dirt into gravel or stone. So if I point it right here, you can see that it is changing all of this into, sometimes it's just getting rid of it. There you can see it's turning into gravel underneath there. And then it will also seem to make a bunch of sheep noises. Next we have the Maze Breaker. Now as you can see, this is a ridiculously powerful pickaxe. And this pickaxe can only be found in a maze, which is the labyrinth, in a secret hidden room on the 2nd floor. So you have to find it in the labyrinth in order to be able to get this, as you cannot craft it. And we got a couple more armor sets that are added to your world. At the bottom we have the Ironwood set, and as you can see, this comes with its own kind of little bit of protection that's already enchanted on there. And this, you make it just in a normal recipe, except you're going to use those Ironwood ingots, which is what I talked about at the beginning, where you make those raw Ironwood materials, and I'll get 2 of these ingots. Next we have the Nightly set of armor. Now you're going to face some guys that are going to be wearing this, and then when you kill them, you'll get this armor shard. Then you can use that to make an armor shard cluster just by placing 9 in the crafting table. Then you can place that in the furnace, and you'll get, or transform that into a ingot. Then you can use that ingot to make this, well, set of armor. And as you can see with the weapons, including the pickaxe, it will deal extra damage to armored targets. So when you fight these guys, make sure that you're not, well, wearing armor. So it's pretty tough because you're wearing armor, they're going to damage you, and if you're not wearing armor, you're going to take more damage anyway. Next, we have the Arctic set, and now to make this, you're just going to take Arctic fur, and you get this when you kill a Yeti. And so it's pretty basic, as you can see it says it's dyeable like leather armor. But then we have the Yeti set of armor. Now this you'll get, or you have to make with Alpha Yeti fur. And so you have to kill the Alpha Yeti to get this. And as you can see, this armor is pretty nice as it chills the attacker, gives you a bunch of protection, and with the boots will give you some feather falling. Next we got a chest just full of a bunch of very different, very special items added into your world. Starting with the tower key. Now this is going to be used when trying to get to the Urgast boss, as there are some blocks that require this key to get through. So it'll just make going up the tower much more easily, but this is a very rare find, so you need to make sure you find this if you're wanting an easier trip up to the Urgast to kill him. Next we have some boar essence. Now this is a drop from one of the mobs that I'll get to in the next episode, but you're going to use this to make Carmonite. Now Carmonite is used to make some special blocks, and those special blocks I'm also going to be going over in the next episode. As you can see, just take 4 of the boar essence with 4 redstone and a gas tier to make that. Next we have a peacock feather fan. Now this is a find that you have to get in some type of loot chest, and this will basically send a nice gust of air in front of you, and it will push any creatures or mobs away from you. So it's a very interesting weapon, if you want to call it that. Next we have a night metal loop. Now to make this, you're just going to take 4 night metal ingots, and then you can use this to make a block and chain. And now this is 1 night metal loop, 3 night metal ingots, and a block of night metal. Now this is a very interesting weapon, and there is a mob that does wield this weapon, so you need to be very careful. So when you right click, it will throw this and I'll bounce it back. So it's kind of like a morning star, but when it hits the ground, it will destroy some blocks, as you can see. So it is a very heavy and very strong weapon. And then on top of that, as you can see, it deals 10 damage just by itself. So it is a very strong weapon, and it looks very cool as well. Next we have the Talisman of the Cube, and now I don't know where you'd find this or whatnot, but I haven't been able to see anything online about where this is in the world or what it's used for. But I do know that this is going to be implemented in the game because there's an unfinished kind of like dungeon section, and I'll show it to you in the next episode, where it says that it's where you can find the talisman. So I think this is what it's talking about. But for right now, it's just kind of a useless item, I guess. Next we have the Cube of Annihilation. Now you cannot make this, so I'm assuming this is either going to come in later in the mod, or it's going to be a very rare find. But this is a very strong weapon. So, well, it is a Cube of Annihilation in that when you throw it, it will keep going and it will destroy things in its path. And then as soon as you change an inventory slot, it will come back to you. So you can see I throw it, and if I were to change my inventory slot, it'll come right back. Because when I throw it, I still have like the small ring selected in my inventory, and so I need to get that off, and then it'll come right back to me. So it is a very strong and powerful item, and I'm going to come over here and use it on a mob very quickly. As if I go ahead and sit down here and launch it at him, boom, as you can see, it instantly killed him. Very strong. Next we have a moon dial, and now once again I haven't been able to find anything on this item, so I'm assuming it's a work in progress. It's going to come in later, since this mod does have a bunch of updates that need to be made to it. Next we have transformation powder. Now I'm going to put up a small picture somewhere on the screen, and this will allow you to transfer vanilla mobs into Twilight mobs, or Twilight mobs into vanilla mobs. So it's just a fun little, very common loot item that you can find. Next we have a lamp of cinders, and now this can be used, or this is another pretty rare find, and this will light up or kind of burn a 4x4 area around you. And I've heard it's been used for, but this still might be a work in progress, to burn this to go from a normal thorns into an ash thorns, and then that might allow you in the future to get to some sort of dimension or something. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting item. So this can also, or it's mainly found in a giant's vault, which is underneath the cloud cottage. I'll get to that little biome in the next episode, and it's usually found in a troll cave, so I guess that's one of the main areas you're going to find it. Next we have an ore magnet. Now this is a pretty rare find, and this will allow you to pull up any ores that are underneath you right to the surface. And now this is destructive, so if you had any like redstone or piping materials from another mod in this block stack basically that I'm looking downward, it will destroy that when it's pulling the ore up. So if I let go, you can see it pulled up this nice stack of iron ore for me then to harvest. So I could come over here a little bit more, do it again. Ooh, got some, ooh, wow, a lot of gold ore. So as you can see, this is a very useful item, but as I said, it is pretty rare to find in a loot chest. Next, we have some magic beans. Now this you have to find once again, and this, when placed in a certain soil, which I'll get into in the next episode, will allow you to go up to the cloud cottage biome, and that's where giants live, as you know, Jack and the Beanstalk, that type of stuff. Next, we have an ice bomb, and now this bomb is pretty common, and so you'll find this in a lot of loot chests, and also the Alpha Yeti will drop 6 of these, as it is, well, once again, a pretty common weapon. So if you throw them at someone, it will kind of stick to them and damage them while giving snow all the way around. Then the ice will shatter, and yeah, that is, well, the weapon. Next, we have the Charm of Life, and we have the Charm of Keeping. So you can see the Charm of Life looks like a heart, and the Charm of Keeping looks like a padlock. Now, the Charm of Life, or both of these, you can find in a labyrinth or a hollow hill. I'll get to those next episode. Now, the Charm of Life, when it is in your inventory and you are going to receive fatal damage, if you have the Charm of Life 1, it will heal you for 4 and then give you a little bit of regeneration so that, you know, it'll heal you back up a little bit. But if you take 4 of those in a crafting table, you can make the Charm of Life 2, which then will have 1 use. So, you know, you could have 4 small heals or 1 big heal, and then that heal will heal you up 10 health, gives you a bunch more regeneration and protection, fire protection, all that type of stuff. So, you know, you can choose which ones you want, and with both of these, it will only use it once when you are when it needs to be used. So if you have a stack of them, it won't use them all. So the next we have the Charms of Keeping. Now the first Charm of Keeping, well, you're probably only going to find this, then you need to make the Charm of Keeping 2 with 4 of those, and then the Charm of Keeping 3 with 4 of the number 2s. And so with these, it will upgrade the amount of inventory that you get to keep upon death. Now the first one will only keep your 4 item slots, and I believe, you know, the inventory slot that you have selected, or the hotbar slot. The second charm will keep your 4 armor slots and then your hotbar. And then your third charm will keep your entire inventory all together. So very useful charms right there. Next we have the Moonworm Queen, and now these are found in hollow hills. They're pretty common, and now these are what allow you to place down these moonworms. So you can see I right click and it'll place those down on the ground. So, you know, it's just kind of another lighting method that you can use. Now this has 156 uses, and once it runs out, then all you have to do is place it in a crafting table with 3 torchberries, and it'll completely restore it. And as you would assume, when it runs out, it would not get destroyed, just its durability is down to 0. And one quick other thing I want to let you guys know about is in the next episode, when I'm going over some special blocks, I'm not going to be including a bunch of the basic blocks. Like there are several kind of stone blocks that you'll find in certain areas. As you can see, like with this structure, there's going to be some special blocks in there, and they're just like basic blocks, like, you know, special castle brick or something like that. So I'm not going to go over all those, as they're just like basic Minecraft stuff that it's pretty easy to figure out. But that's pretty much it for the Twilight Forest mod part 1. Now in part 2, I'm going to be going over big structures like the one that's behind me, just kind of the overall biomes of the world, the bosses, how you attack them, just doing a quick basic overview of the mobs, and also some special blocks that are added into your world that you need to know how they work. But thank you for watching. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. Also comment down below any questions or problems you might have with this mod, as I'll be happy to try to help you through those. And I'll see you all in the next video. High five.